Hi, I'm Emily. Life has a way of throwing unexpected challenges at us, and the recent loss of my grandmother was one that still lingers in my heart. She wasn't just a relative, she was my confidant, my biggest cheerleader, and the one who believed in my dreams of becoming a graphic designer when no one else did. Her final gift to me was more than just an inheritance, it was a piece of her unwavering faith in me, wrapped up in the formalities of wills and legal documents. I vividly remember the day at the lawyer's office. The polished oak table seemed colder than ever as the lawyer read the will. I felt the weight of responsibility settle on my shoulders, knowing that every penny was a testament to Grandma's love and trust. But my father, Richard, saw it differently. Since marrying Clara a year ago, things at home had changed. Clara was the kind of woman who could light up a room with her presence, not just her smile. She was always on to the next big project, each one more ambitious than the last. But there was something about her, an air of secrecy beneath the charm, that made me uneasy. Emily, Clara's been thinking about starting a new business, Dad said one evening, his tone casual, as if he were discussing the weather rather than my future. She has this brilliant idea, and your inheritance could be the perfect seed money. We were in the living room, where traces of Grandma still lingered, her favorite porcelain vase on the mantelpiece, her knitting basket by the sofa. Discussing using my inheritance in such a way in this space, filled with her memories, felt like a violation. I want to use that money for my own designs, Dad. Grandma wanted me to have it for my future, I countered, trying to keep my voice steady. Clara chimed in, her voice smooth as silk. But think of the potential, Emily. It's not just an investment in a business. It's an investment in family. We could all benefit. The way she said family made it sound more like a business deal than a bond of love and trust. I looked between them, feeling the tension rise. I don't know, Clara. I need to think about it. It's a lot to consider. Your grandmother would have wanted you to be practical, Emily, Dad added, his tone shifting, a slight edge creeping in. She was always about the big picture. I couldn't believe he was using Grandma's memory like that. I think she'd want me to be careful, I retorted, my hands clenched in my lap. The conversation stalled, the air thick with unspoken words, and my refusal hanging heavily between us. Clara's smile didn't waver, but her eyes, they hardened just a fraction, enough to let me know this wasn't the end of it. In the weeks that followed, I pored over Grandma's letters to me, each line a reminder of her wisdom. She'd often written about the importance of standing firm in one's beliefs, especially when pressured to compromise. I knew deep down that investing in Clara's business was not what I wanted, nor what Grandma would have wanted me to do blindly. One evening, as I sat reading one of those old letters under the soft glow of a lamp, I realized that my decision was about more than just money. It was about respecting Grandma's legacy. I needed to hold on to the inheritance for the purpose it was intended, for my dreams, not Clara's. I'm not investing the money in the business, Dad, I finally declared one night after dinner. The look on his face was a mix of disappointment and frustration. But I was resolute. Clara's attempts to sway me further only strengthened my resolve. It's yours, Emily. We could have done great things together. Perhaps we could have, but on whose terms? As the days passed, the tension in the house grew palpable. I knew I had made the right decision, even though it came at the cost of familial peace. But as Grandma always said, some prices are worth paying for the sake of one's own path. Emily, let's raise a toast to your grandmother, a remarkable woman whose legacy continues to inspire us all. Richard's voice filled the dining room, his glass raised high. The room, adorned with Grandma's favorite lilies, felt too tight, too staged. Clara stood beside him, her smile practiced, her eyes scanning the room like she was calculating her next move. To Grandma, I echoed, lifting my glass. The clink of glasses felt hollow against the backdrop of my churning thoughts. Tonight, the sleuthing begins, where all modern investigations start, with a laptop and a strong cup of coffee. As the screen glowed in the dim light of my apartment, I typed in Clara's business name, watching as pages of polished PR spin and investor fluff filled the screen. It was all too glossy, too perfect. Jenna, my college friend turned financial analyst, plopped down beside me with her own laptop. Something like that, can you help me look beyond the surface? There's something off about Clara's business proposals. Jenna's fingers flew over her keyboard. Let's dive into the financials. If there's dirt, it's buried in the numbers. We split tasks, me chasing down former business associates and disgruntled partners. while Jenna scrutinized financial reports and investment returns. Hours blurred as we unearthed a troubling pattern. Businesses started, money raised, ventures abruptly shut down. Look at this. Jenna pointed to a series of transactions. Every time one of her companies tanks, she's already pulling capital from the next. It's like a Ponzi scheme, but with startups. I leaned back, the implications spinning in my head. She's using new investor money to cover old debts. Exactly. And look here. Several of these investors are family businesses, including some of your dad's friends. The betrayal stung. Its reach wider than I feared. Clara wasn't just targeting me, she was ensnaring anyone within my father's circle. We need to expose her, Jenna, before she drags more people down with her. Plans formed, a sting operation of sorts. We decided on a family gathering. A casual barbecue, the kind where news spreads as quickly as the fire in the grill. The day was clear, the backyard filled with unsuspecting guests. I spotted Clara holding court among my father's friends, her charm dialed high. With a nod to Jenna, who was ready with documents and her phone for recording, I strode over. Clara, can we talk in private? My voice was steady, belying the storm inside. She smiled, a predator's grin, and led me to the garden, out of immediate earshot but still in view of everyone. What is it, Emily? I know about the businesses, Clara, the failed ventures, the money from new investors used to cover old debts. How many more people need to suffer for your ambitions? Her face hardened, the facade slipping. You're out of your depth, Emily. This is how the world works. People invest, some win, some lose. But they didn't know they were gambling with a stacked deck. Did they? You deceived them. Clara's eyes narrowed, but before she could respond, Jenna stepped forward, her phone out. We have proof, Clara, and we're not afraid to use it. The confrontation escalated, voices rising as the tension in the air thickened. Guests began to drift over, drawn by the drama unfolding before them. Clara laughed, a cold, sharp sound. You think this will stop me? Your father won't believe you over me. But then Richard, who had come over to see what was happening, spoke up, his voice unsure. Is it true, Clara? Were you lying to us all? With the crowd's eyes on her, Clara's confidence wavered. Richard, it's not like that. It's just business. It's fraud. I corrected her, my voice carrying across the silent onlookers. And everyone here deserves to know the truth. The fallout was immediate. Conversations ignited, some defending Clara, others shocked and reeling. Richard stood silent, the truth finally cutting through his denial. As the party broke up, the seeds of doubt firmly planted, I realized the battle was far from over. But today, the truth had won a significant victory. At home, the atmosphere was tense. Clara's latest venture crumbled without the influx of missiled investments, leaving her scrambling to salvage her reputation. But the damage was done. The strain on their marriage was palpable, each day widening the rift that the truth had torn open. Amid the chaos, I focused on building the future I had envisioned. One where my creativity and ethics weren't just tools for survival, but foundations for growth. Using my inheritance, I launched my own design firm, specializing in sustainable and innovative design solutions. It was a risk stepping out amid the fallout of Clara's scandal, but it was one I took with determination. The firm quickly gained traction. Projects flowed in, and clients appreciated the transparency and creativity I brought to the table. For the first time in a long while, I felt the true weight of independence, the kind that's carved out of adversity and thrives against the odds. Months passed, and as the firm celebrated its first successful year, I invited family and friends to a small gathering. It wasn't just a celebration of the firm's success, but a testament to resilience and integrity. As guests mingled in the warmly lit room of my new studio, I couldn't help but reflect on the journey. The air was filled with laughter and music, a stark contrast to the last family gathering dominated by confrontation and betrayal. Richard approached, a figure much diminished by his recent experiences. His eyes met mine, and there was a flicker of something, regret, perhaps, or a newfound understanding of the consequences of his choices. Emily, I'm sorry, he started, his voice barely above a whisper. I was wrong about Clara, about everything. I nodded, acknowledging his apology, but feeling the distance that couldn't be bridged. Thanks, Dad. I hope we can move forward, maybe not as before, but forward nonetheless. Clara was notably absent, her presence replaced by murmurs of her latest predicaments, more failed ventures, more burned bridges. I felt a twinge of pity, but it was distant, overshadowed by the awareness that she had brought this upon herself. As the evening wound down, I stood by the window, looking out at the city lights. The challenges of the past months had sculpted a new version of me, one forged in the fires of betrayal and hardened in the resolve of independence. Turning back to the room filled with the evidence of my new life, I realized this wasn't just a celebration of success. It was a reaffirmation of my path, one chosen with heart and walked with courage. The story of my inheritance and Clara's deceit had begun as a family drama, but ended as a personal triumph. In the end, the legacy wasn't just in the money Grandma left me. It was in the lessons of resilience and integrity, echoing far beyond the immediate consequences of deceit. That wraps up our story. Now I have a question for all of you. If you were in Emily's shoes, would you have used your inheritance to invest in Clara's business venture to maintain peace in the family? Or would you have stood your ground as Emily did, even if it meant causing conflict? Please share your thoughts in the comments.